Whoever you are, say hello, because I would love to meet you if I haven't before, and I love saying good morning to people. So it is the midweek masterclass right here in the Make It Happen group. So I am Lindsay and I am your host. I'm a business coach. I call myself the energetic business coach because one, I'm a pretty energetic, bouncy person. But two, I believe with the right energy, anything for you is totally possible. So today I want to talk about pricing. I know, I think it's one of those topics where actually none of us are very comfortable with. Or, you know, it takes a long time to get comfortable with your pricing, and it can be challenging to get your pricing right, and you can decide on a price and then find yourself completely discounting it when you're talking to someone or you're offering it to someone, because suddenly you get really uncomfortable with it. So hopefully today I'm going to show you or share with you some ways that you can get more confident with your pricing, and you could start to understand why pricing and getting your pricing right is so important for both you and your clients. So many of the examples I'm going to use today are in the coaching arena, but they will apply pretty much to any business that you have or any field that you're in, with the exception of a few. And I have worked with clients before where pricing is actually very sensitive to the environment, the field that they're working in, so it becomes more challenging. However, it's still about stating your pricing in a way that you feel confident about it. So I'm going to get started now. So let's talk about pricing. And the first thing I want you to say, or I want to say, and I want to tell you, is that pricing should always come from the heart. And when you price from the heart for your ideal, perfect for you client, you can't possibly get it wrong. It's complex and it's challenging, and it'll depend on you, depend on your client. There are so many things, but I want to make it easier for you to price, and I want to make it easier for you to say your pricing with absolute confidence. And that is a skill, but there are things that and it's a skill that you learn. It gets easier the more you say your pricing, the more you feel into it, it gets easier. But here are some things that you can always fall back on. Pricing from the heart. So when you're pricing from the heart and for your perfect for you ideal audience, you can never get your price wrong. Okay, so first of all, take that on board. You can never get your pricing wrong. It will always be perfect for your perfect for you client. How awesome is that? Now, that came from a business coach I worked with a couple of years ago from the States. It was something that really resonated with me, and I've held close ever since, because it makes really good sense, doesn't it? That we can't price to be perfect for everyone, and we don't want to. We only want to work with perfect for us clients, and perfect for us clients, or more importantly, perfect for you clients, will always pay the price that you ask, because it's going to be right for them, because you're the match. I also want you to remember that when you're thinking about your pricing, people buy outcomes. They buy results. They don't buy the what they get, okay? Let me explain that, okay? And we'll use business coaching as an example again. For a long time, I'm pretty damn sure that I would focus on pay X and you will get this and that in a training session. You get one-to-one, and there's all this. Isn't that awesome? Yet it is awesome, because that's how I will create the transformation from where you are today, from where you want to be, in the easiest way. So I'm the bridge between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. But actually, you're not interested in the how. You want to know what the results are. You want to know that by working with me, you will move yourself, whether it's mindset, whether it's financially, whether it's business model, from here to here. You want to know that by working with me and doing X, Y, and Z, but you're not interested in the X, Y, and Z, that you'll get that transformation. Again, I watched, it was on Monday, I watched this amazing live by this modern day shaman. And I'm quite new to all that stuff, but it was really fascinating, actually, that the way that she was speaking about that very concept, that it's about the transformation, that it's about you buying the energy. So you don't buy the program, you don't buy what's in it, you buy the results. And the results and the outcomes are most evident from me. So if you're buying from me, the results and the outcomes are most evident from me. You want to not be like me, but you want to enjoy what I enjoy, the abundance, the freedom, the processes. You want to enjoy what I enjoy. And I need to be the gap between that transformation, the bridge between that transformation. So again, do you see what I've done there? You're not buying what I'm offering you. You're buying the result. You're buying the outcome. You're buying a little piece of me, if you like. You want to be able to have that confidence. You want to be able to price with confidence. You want to be able to know your numbers. So that drives your business. All the things that I do and I teach, you want a slice of that because you want to achieve your own desires, not my desires, your desires. So I become the bridge. So immediately, okay, a couple of things really strong there. Your perfect for you client will always pay the price that you ask. Your perfect for you client is not buying what actually you're selling, the physical product, the service. They are buying the results. Even if you're an accountant, I don't go to my accountant because they're going to do X, Y, and Z. To be honest, I haven't got a clue what X, Y, and Z is. Not a clue. I don't need to know. All I need to know is that by working with this accountant, they will look after me. They will look after my money. They will be the conduit, the gap. They will bridge the gap between myself and the tax man. They will make sure I pay the right amount of money. That's what I'm buying into. I'm buying into their knowledge and expertise. I don't need to know the X, Y, and Z. Haven't got a clue. Not a clue, not interested, okay? And it's a little bit like if you buy the services of a graphic designer. You don't care what software they use. You want to know that by working with them, they'll get you, they'll understand you, they'll want to support you to create the results you want from whatever it is they're creating for you. You don't really care what they're designing it on. They could be designing it with pen and paper for all you cared, as long as it's the results. You want that relationship. That's what's important. So do you see that? I've given you another 2 examples there where it's so important that we sell the results and the outcome. We're not selling the how and why. And of course, those kind of services, the lawyer, the accountant, the graphic designer, they all do that really, really well because you're always buying the results without even thinking. Plumber, you're buying the results. You want your tap fixed. That's all you care about. You don't care about the bit in between. They buy you. They're buying into you, what they can see, what they, from a coaching point of view, they're buying to you from the energy point of view because they want to have that confidence, or they want to be able to use the tools that you've got to create the desire, to realize their desires, realize your desires. They buy you. So when I went to my accountant, because it's somebody that I knew, that I built a relationship with, and I wanted to spend my money with them because I knew they'd look after me. I was buying her. I didn't actually buy the firm. I bought her. Okay, so let's just recap. Pricing should always come from the heart. You can never get it wrong if you are pricing with your ideal perfect client for you, because they will always buy. They will always buy for you no matter what the price. They're not buying the service. They're not buying the X, Y, and Z. They're buying the outcomes and the results. And it makes your marketing much, much easier. From a marketing point of view, it's way easier to talk about the results. Work with me and you will be more confident in your business. You will claim the clients, the time and the money that you desire. One of the catchphrases that I use. Oh, that's a terrible phrase, isn't it? Catchphrase. It's not a catchphrase. I live by that. Claim way more clients, money, and time. You don't really care how I'm going to share, what tools and techniques. You just want a piece of that. And you want a piece of me because that's the energy behind it. Do not undervalue yourself. When someone buys in to a business coach, when someone buys in to an accountant, they're not really buying the hourly rate of that time. You're not buying an hour of my time. To get an hour of my time, you're not buying an hour of my time. You're not buying an hour of the accountant's time or 15 minutes of the lawyer's time. What you're buying into is every single bit of training that they have done, every moment that they have spent at university, at college, every moment they have spent on their own self-development. You are buying into all of that. I keep meaning to do it as an exercise to look at everything that I have invested in myself in the last 7 years, because that's what you're buying into. You're not buying an hour of my time. You're buying my experience, my expertise, my knowledge. You're buying into what I have achieved in my business and what I can show you can be achieved. You're buying into the energy. You're buying into me being able to hold the belief for what I can see as possible for you. You're not buying an hour of my time. And it's a really good a really good principle, that's the word I want to look for. It's a really good principle to start understanding. Nobody is buying a single hour of your time. They are buying your expertise. They are buying every single qualification you have done. They're buying into every hour that you have spent furthering and developing you. It's why it's so important that you continue to do that, because they are your client from a business perspective, business coaching perspective. My clients are gaining every time I do something. Every coach I work with, every program I buy into, my clients are benefiting from that. So they're never getting an hour of my time. They're getting hundreds and hundreds of hours of my time in that period of time that they choose to work with me. So please remember that your client is investing in you, but they're not buying an hour of you. And I keep using an hour because it's a nice little, it could be 30 minutes, whatever your session times are. They're buying into your expertise and your knowledge. They're buying into every moment that you have spent developing you, growing you, every moment of training, every moment that you've picked up a book, that you've meditated, that you've journaled, every moment of furthering you and your business, that is what they're buying into. It should not be about the competition or the going rate. And I do know, and like I say, I have worked with clients where this is really, really tricky, because there is a going rate, because there is a level field, if you like, of what you can charge. But predominantly for most of my clients that I work with, they could charge anything they like. It should never be about the going rate. It should never be about what the competition is doing. So if you want to charge less than the competition, because that's the right thing for you to do, because that's the right thing for your business, I'm going to come on to some things that you must think about. So you're not pricing yourself lower than the competition to be in competition. You're pricing lower than the competition because it's the right thing to do. The opposite is obviously true as well. If you price higher than the competition, you're not pricing higher to compete. You're pricing higher because it's the right thing for you to do. Remember, your perfect for you client will pay exactly what you ask. Your perfect for you client will always find a way, because they want to work with you. Now, I always think about my perfect for me clients as walking over hot stones, hot coals. That's how desperate they are to get to you. That's how much the pain is. That's how much they want the transformation from where they are to where they want to be. And they want to do that in the easiest and the quickest way possible. They don't want to be stuck any longer. So think about your client and think about that transformation. And think about your business and you, not about the competition and the going rate. And I do say this with a caveat that, as I say, I've said it 3 or 4 times now, I have worked with clients where this is really, really challenging. So there are some that I can see, but there are other ways of looking at it. And unfortunately, we haven't got time to think about that or talk about that just now. But there are some other ways of looking at your pricing when there is that level playing field and it's really hard to tip the edge. However, if you're bloody good at what you are, and I know that you are, if you are a strong, good businesswoman with strong principles, if you know that you can get the results, if you know that you can create that transformation from A to B much quicker and sooner than the competition, why can't you charge more? Think about it another way. Actually, here's a really good example. Imagine that you know that over here the competition is charging X, but they are going to work with their client twice as long, 3 times as long as you. So suddenly you charging more, it's back to that level playing field. Be really careful that you are not charging a rate because the competition is doing it, because you feel that's all you can get. If you can create transformations far quicker than your competition, why can't you charge what's right for you? So just mull that one over. As I say, I do understand that in some, particularly training industries, it's quite hard. There seems to be a going rate. Have you ever looked at something and thought, oh, I'll go and buy that over here because it's cheaper, and then that cheaper thing doesn't arrive, so you have to chase it. Then when it does arrive, it's broken, so you have to chase it and you have to get a replacement. If you paid just a little bit more, it would have arrived perfectly. It would have been just what you wanted, and there would have been less stress involved. Often cheaper is not the answer. Often cheaper is not the solution. Often cheaper creates more work and stress for you. So please keep that in mind when you're not only pricing your own services, but when you're buying. Know that it will be perfect, and equally the buyer will make their own decision anyway. They will absolutely make their own decision. So, you know, I might put a price out there, and for 25 people, they think it's too expensive, and one says, oh, that's just too cheap, Linz. And I've had that before, where people have told me I'm too cheap, I'm not charging enough. So you're never going to meet everyone's expectations, but the great thing is we don't need to. We only have to meet the expectation of our perfect for us client. That's all. Price too low, and you will attract more of the not perfect for you client. Price too low, and you will attract the not perfect for you client. And you will continue to attract the not perfect for you client. Now, when we attract the not perfect for you client, two things happen. One, we do such an amazing job, even though we know, or even though we feel undervalued, even though we know we're giving it away. And that person goes away with the transformation, and they sing your praises, and they tell the world, and you attract more of that client who is attracted by that low end price. Or what happens, I suppose there are three scenarios actually. One is you do a really bad job because actually you've undersold, you're not in it, they're not in it, they don't get the results they want, they badmouth you, that can happen. And then there's this other scenario, I guess, where they're not the right client for you, so they don't get the results they want. You know, it's not the right relationship, and there's 101 different combinations of that. Actually, the more I've said it, so be really, really careful that when you price too low, you will attract the wrong kind of client. The wrong client, the client that will quibble about your pricing, that won't pay on time, that won't turn up. They will give you every single excuse under the sun while they haven't done X, Y, and Z, and at the end of it, they won't get the results. There is the client who will genuinely struggle to make that payment. And actually then they're still not getting the results because they can't be all in because they're too scared. Sometimes we're not the right solution. And that's not because they can't afford to pay for us. That's sometimes because someone's circumstances aren't allowing them to work with you just yet. Okay, it might be that they need to go away and do something else first. It might be that they need to go away and sort out their finances, because nobody wants to see anyone rack up a whole load of debt to create that transformation. Really wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't want my clients to be doing that. I really wouldn't. That's not because I don't believe that they can't get the results, and that's not because I don't believe that they could then pay it off, but it puts a very different dynamic on our working together, and you would see that also in your businesses. So be really, really careful of being too low. The other thing to mention about pricing too low is that when you do that, you're not valuing yourself, which kind of alluded to in some of those examples. You're not valuing who you are. You're not valuing what you can do. You know, lots of things can happen. One, you don't do a really good job. That becomes frustrating. It knocks your confidence. You know, there are lots of knock-on effects to not charging the right price for your client and for you. Why would you not value yourself? Why would you not value yourself? So please be really, really careful of that pricing in relation to being too low. One, because you'll attract the wrong kind of client. Two, you won't be able to do the right job. Three, you're not valuing yourself, and that can have a really negative impact on you and your business. Short term, medium term, and even long term. So be really, really careful of your pricing. Don't price too low through fear. And all of these things you might be saying, oh, but Lindsay, yeah, I get it, and it resonates and everything else, but I'm really scared about it. That's why you need to reach out and get help. Now, I'm not saying you have to work with me. There are lots of different programs out there. There are lots of business coaches out there. Find the right one for you, get the help and support you need so that you can make the right decisions in your business, not from a place of lack and not from a place of fear. When you're working from a place of lack and fear, you will not get the results because the energy will not be right. Okay, you need to work from a place of abundance. Just sticking with this low, there's just one more thing I want to cover. When we price too low, there is a real chance that we might be undervaluing our clients, that we might not be holding our clients in the right way. Okay, Be careful with your pricing, that low pricing, because it's almost setting a really low expectation of your clients. So if I went out there and I've developed a program and I think that program is worth, I don't know, £3,000, and I suddenly think, oh, actually, I'm not really sure, could they afford it? I'll reduce it, I don't know, I'll make it £800. What does that, one, what does it say about me? Two, what does it say about my client? Am I saying that they couldn't find the money if they really wanted it for the transformation that they really desire? Am I saying that my client can't achieve that transformation anyway, so I'll just take a little bit of money because then I don't care if they make it or not? Am I saying that they're not worthy of the transformation? Am I saying that my client is not deserving enough of the transformation that they could get by working with me? How awful is that? All of those things, and they were flown. I had literally written down low expectation of client, and then all these things have just come to me. It is so important that you do not underprice yourself. In fact, underpricing yourself is way worse than overpricing yourself. Way worse. So please be really careful that you're not pricing yourself so low from a place of fear, from a place of scarcity. Please, please, please make sure that you are pricing it right for your perfect for you client, so that you are valuing you, so you are valuing them, so that you are holding them in that beautiful container because you know the transformation that you can create. And yes, I'm kind of talking from a coaching perspective where, whether it's healing, but this applies to any business. You can make it apply to your business, just change the wording that I'm using. And as I say, at the beginning, I said I will use many examples like coaching examples because they're good ones for a start, but also that's the industry that I work in. So please, double check your pricing. What is your expectation of your client? Is it low or is it up here? Is it up here? See, I've just been increasing my pricing because my expectation of my clients is here. The transformations that I know that they can achieve is up here. Everything I know that you can achieve is up here. That is my expectation for you. Transformations, your transformation is possible. And the beautiful thing about coaching is I can create different levels of programs so that I can work with more people and make it affordable for more. Coaching is a really lucky industry. We get to work in so many different ways. It's a beautiful industry to be in. And actually it's a really valuable industry. I know the value of every single coach that I have invested in. And I know how that shines through me and into my clients. So I'm asking you, check in with your pricing, if for no other reason than to make sure that you are valuing your client, your potential client, and the transformations, the changes. What is it? Remind yourself, what is your purpose? What is your why? What do you want for them? And are you valuing them enough with your pricing? Okay. So something I want to just share with you. How do you value money? Okay, and potentially I think this is a whole masterclass in itself. Think about the words that you use. Now, I used the example of the Rich Tea biscuits recently, earlier in the year. Okay, so I was outside and I was on the app doing my shopping, and I said, oh, what do we need? My kids quite like a biscuit in the morning. I was like, what biscuits do we need? My husband loves biscuits. What biscuits do you want? He said, can we have some Rich Tea biscuits? I was like, do you know how much Rich Tea biscuits are? He said, well, get some Tesco ones. But he said, the Rich Tea ones are best. And I'm sort of scrolling through looking for, I just mentioned a supermarket, didn't I? Other supermarkets are available. Anyway, I went to their brand, which was, I don't know, 60p or something. And then I stopped and I thought, oh my God, as a family, do we not deserve a packet of Rich Tea biscuits? I have never bought anything else but Rich Tea biscuits since. Other brands are available. But watch what you're saying, watch what you're doing, watch your relationship with money. You cannot expect your clients, your customers, your patients to invest in you if you're not investing in you. And I don't mean in a coaching kind of way, in everything that you do. Where are you scrimping and saving? But please look at how you are spending money. Please look. So this house, it's our forever home. It seems to be taking forever and will take forever to become our forever home, but we love it. And, it's going to be a long time before we can get our kitchen redone. So I bought some really new coffee canisters and stuff. I don't know, I spent 30 quid or something. Oh, I spent a little bit more because I bought some crockery as well. But it was a little upgrade. It's not the kitchen that I want, but it was a little upgrade. Look at where you can do those little upgrades in your life. Think about how you're using money. Every time you go, well, that's expensive, please think Rich T. Now, it might be that something is expensive. Why don't you change that? Okay, that's not for me right now. Is there something else? Or how can I create the financial abundance to be able to get that? So be careful. That's expensive. I can't afford that. That is a really, really bad phrase. And there was a point where I was hearing it in my daughter. Be careful of the money box that you're passing on. And in fact, it was her that made me do a lot of money block work or money mindset work, because I could see what was happening around me. So I want you to be aware of what you're saying. I want you to be aware of how you view money. And I want you to start thinking about how you invest in you and what you can upgrade today. But that last bit, how do you value money? I want you to start noticing and being consciously aware of the words that you're using, being consciously aware of how you are thinking about money. Remember, we are a reflection of our clients. We are a reflection of our clients, our patients, and our customers. So make it a good reflection. Be really conscious of how your mind works. Be really conscious of the words that you're using. So a really, really quick recap. Always price from the heart. Know that you can never get it wrong for your perfect for you client. Remember that your client, customer, or patient is buying the outcomes and results. They are not buying the X, Y, and Z. And if you ever need an example, think accountants. I have no idea how they do X, Y, and Z. I don't even know what X, Y, and Z is. I just know that what the result is and the outcome. Okay, so think accountant. Remember also that your clients buy from you, they buy from your energy, which is why the money work is so important. Okay, so I'm going to flip to where I ended there. Just remember, start being really consciously aware of how you talk about money and your own relationship with money. So your client is investing in you, and every single hour that you have spent investing in you, from the 10 minutes you grabbed to read that book this morning, from that meditation you did last night, from the planning, from the processes, from the qualifications, from the time that you spent developing you, from the time you spent developing your business and strengthening your business. Remember, it's about every action you take to improve you and your business. That is what your client, your patient, or your customer is buying into. I also talked very briefly today about remembering that it's not about the competition. So, and with the caveat that I know that can be challenging in some industries, but please remember, they are buying into the results. Please remember that they are buying every qualification that you have. So if you can create the transformation far quicker than the competition and you're charging more, you're back to a level playing field. So be really wary of that and make sure that, sorry, I didn't mean to wave my pen at you, and be really wary of your thinking and make sure that you're not making assumptions. Don't make assumptions about your client anyway. It is not for you to decide if they can or cannot pay. Your responsibility is simply to present the solution. It is not to worry about how they will or will not be able to pay. I talked quite a bit about pricing low. Make sure that you're not pricing low, devaluing who you are, devaluing what you are, devaluing every hour that you have spent developing you, every qualification that you have done. Please don't underprice if you can see that is you devaluing the potentiality of your client. If you are devaluing what is possible for your client. So be careful of that really low pricing. And finishing back to close the circle, you cannot do enough work on your money mindset. And the good news is it's never done, so you can just keep on working at it. I love that it's never done. I don't have to get anywhere, I just have to keep working at it.